Good evening and welcome back. I'm Ankit Tyagi. Time has in fact not been a healer. After 32 years, the pain of being killed, tortured and hounded out of their own homes is still raw for Kashmiri Pandits. For the victims of the 1990 Hindu genocide in Kashmir, as the community watched the film The Kashmir Files, they relived the terrors. Not only did the then ruling dispensation fail to ensure safety, but successive governments to this day have failed to ensure justice for them. Limbs were chopped off, ladies and gentlemen. Men were hung from trees, bodies thrown into jailum, and women were brutalized. However, due to lack of political intent, their killers still roam free. Many of them embraced by political leaders, and others lived as free men in the lap of luxury. In fact, till date, officially, terms like Hindu migration or exodus were used instead of Hindu genocide. Now, times now will fight, your fight. We have launched a campaign to reopen the Kashmir Files. It's never too late to ensure justice and give some semblance of closure to those who suffered the most. For example, just take a look. I mean, this self-proclaimed butchers of Hindu, Bitta Karate, on camera, he confessed to the stone-cold murders that he committed of innocent Hindus and armed forces, yet he was given bail unchallenged, after which he lived a free life, amassed a large amount of wealth as well. Take a look at this report.
With the release of the Kashmir Files movie, the focus is back on Kashmiri Pandits who were forced to leave Kashmir Valley during 90s. In fact, we are now at downtown Srinagar, just few meters away from the residence of one of the key perpetrators of this genocide, who is Farooq Ahmed Dar, also known as Bitta Karate. In 2017, NIA in fact questioned Bitta Karate and other separatist leaders after they admitted that they were receiving funds for fueling street protesters in Kashmir Valley. During the investigation, it also came to fore that the Bitta Karate was a millionaire. In fact, one residential house here in downtown Srinagar, priced land in Naseem Bagh, Srinagar. Now, at the moment, Bitta Karate and other separatist leaders are in jail. However, the question remains that why successive governments didn't challenge the court order after Bitta Karate was released from jail in 2006.
Now watch how Bitta Karate was patronized, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, Bitta Karate was granted bail in 2006. This went uncontested. The judge called out the government while giving bail. There were allegations against the accused and said that these are very, very serious allegations. Crimes carry punishment to death sentence. Prosecution has shown total disinterest in the case. These are, in fact, the words of Justice N.D. Vani, who wrote the bail order. Bail was not contested by the government. 2006, Ghulam Nabi Azad was the chief minister. 2009, Omar Abdullah was the chief minister. Mufti Mohammad Saeed, 2015, and then 2018, Mehbooba Mufti was the chief minister when she was in government with the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, honor for terrorist wife, Bitta Karate's wife, was appointed as the liaison officer in 2017 BJP PDP government. Now, this also raises very, very important questions of how successive government have completely failed to bring any sense of closure and justice to the Kashmiri Pandits. I'm being joined right at this moment by Sarfaraz Wani, who is at this moment with us. Sarfaraz, along with Sarfaraz Wani is a lawyer. We also have Amit Raina. He is an activist, a Kashmiri activist. Mr. Raina, I just want to start by asking you, while the politics around this movie is on, the problem is that successive governments from 1990 till 2022 have failed to ensure justice as far as Kashmiri Pandits are concerned.
Yes, that's true. And unfortunately, I would say even the courts which take so much cognizance or notice of anything triggered also fail to recognize a genocide that has happened in this country and pick it up. And when a petition was filed by Roots in Kashmir, an organization, they said, sorry, you are late. First time in my life I've heard any court anywhere in the world saying that there is a limitation on cases which are criminal in nature. Meanwhile, at the same time, Bangladesh was prosecuting people who were responsible for the genocide that happened when they were part of East Pakistan after 40, 30, 35, 40 years.
Absolutely.
It was very surprising that a world's largest democracy was trying to ignore the justice that a certain community needed. Now, coming to the second question, the political parties have patronized every kind of separatist in Jammu and Kashmir, and unfortunately, even the so-called rightist party have done so, depending upon which side of the line you are at that point of time. So
right.
If Yasin Malik was the chief guest, with Manmohan Singh, Sajjad Lone, who along with his father was responsible for bringing guns into the valley, a person who was responsible for all the Hawala finance that happened in the valley, became part of a BJP alliance in PDP.
It's political patronage and it's also convenience, isn't it? Sardar RP Singh of the BJP also with me at this moment. But before I go to Sardar RP Singh, Sarfaraz Wani, for any kind of closure or some kind of long-lasting peace to come back to the Kashmir Valley, isn't it very, very necessary that there is acceptance of the kind of violence, the genocide that was carried out? It has to be accepted not only by the governments in the courts, but also by the Kashmiri society at large.
See, definitely it has to be accepted, and it has also to be accepted that it is not the only Kashmiri Pandit committee which has suffered, right? If there can be a 170-minute Kashmiri Files movie showing the pain and suffering of Kashmiri Pandits. See, I'm not comparing. Pain cannot be compared. But there has to be a 170-hour-long movie showing the pain and suffering of the local Muslims who has suffered from both sides.
I agree. Pain can't be compared. But the fact is, sir, that there was one community which was targeted, specifically targeted for their religion, which was specifically targeted and hounded out of the valley.
See, the movie shows a one-sided narrative, right? The movie shows half-truths. The movie shows the narrative, one-sided narrative. The movie in itself, first, it shows how the foreign media milked from the choreographed narrative, and then in itself, in the movie shows the hate, the animosity. It provokes the Kashmiri Pandits against a particular community.
Does that mean that? But all this,
it generalized.
All this can be kept.
It generalized that every
this
Kashmiri
can be
Muslim,
just swept
every
under.
Kashmiri Muslim. No, everybody condemns. I'm saying on record, everybody condemns what happened to Kashmir.
Then why is it?
Everybody demands.
If everybody demands that in Kashmir, if everybody demands the justice in Kashmir, then Vikas Rehna. Why is it? No, I understand that. You are saying no, not every Kashmiri Muslim is like that. But then Vikas Rehna, why is it that people like Bitta Karate, people like Yasin Malik still find a very conducive environment in the same Kashmir Valley where they have perpetrated these crimes? If all Kashmiri Muslims are not like that, then why isn't a wider condemnation of people like Bitta Karate or Yasin Malik?
See, that is actually the irony. That is what has happened since last 32 years. These people who have killed, murdered, raped Kashmiri Pandits, did everything to us, are still roaming free. So I want to see, I don't have any problem with these guys because they have this kind of fabric where they equate everything. The person who was speaking before me, is he living outside his homeland right now? Has he been away from his homeland for 32 years? He is talking about killings and all that. We were dragged out of our homelands. We were killed by these people who were called to PM offices, who were honored there.
Right.
Before 6 years, the government should have done something to to punish these criminals.
RP Singh,
But they did nothing.
While the BJP, can blame the Congress party, a larger question that a lot of people are asking is that it's been 8 years, sir. Almost 8 years that your government has been in power. What is the movement forward? Yassin Malik, Bitta Karate, all these people are still roaming free. They have not paid for the crimes that they committed.
Not properly. None of them are free. Yassin Malik, Bitta Karate, and all like them are behind bar. And then cases are being pursued now, reopened and pursued now. One. Secondly, I have personally written a letter last year to the Home Minister, and I have asked for a detailed inquiry into the complete genocide. I have just posted my letter to you, which I have sent last year. It's on your WhatsApp now. You can check and then probably use that. But that's not the point. The point is that what is being done today, when Congress is trying to equate the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits to Muslim killings, and that too with some data which is not right, some figures which have created that. And again, only for one objective, to garner Muslim votes. They can go to any extent. It's appeasement of Muslim votes. That's very sad part. When in Kerala Congress, the tweet which they have said, Rahul Gandhi never uttered a word. He never tweeted on this. Otherwise, he would say that I'm a Kashmiri Pandit myself.
Sir, are the cases of murder, of torture against Yassin Malik, against Bitta Karate, are they being pursued right now?
I'm assuring you, none of them will go scot-free on these cases.
Sir, but it's been 8 years and people have been listening to this for quite some time. Not only from your government, sir, from 1990 onwards, this has been successive governments have failed them, sir.
Ankit Tyagi ji, where is Bitta Karate today? Is he roaming free in Kashmir, in the valley of Kashmir? Where is Yassin Malik? They are behind bar in certain cases, and other cases are being pursued by the government.
Amit Rana, do you buy this argument that Mr. RP Singh is putting out right now, that the government is going after them?
I know RP Singh ji well, and I know he has great love for the community, and he has always been the well-wisher. But unfortunately, his party has not delivered. They have delivered to a large extent. Abrogation Article 370, 35A raised the hopes. I am saying, but the walk the talk still has not happened. You are saying Bitta Karate is behind bars. For what? He is behind bars for some hawala charges. Yassin Malik is behind bars for some hawala charges. For 32 years, forget the killing of Kashmiri Pandits, the 4 Air Force officers have been killed.
Yes.
35 साल हो गए हम उनको अभी तक पहले कोर्ट से उनको ये नहीं दिला सके हैं. ये तो प्रोसेस ही इतना लंबा, उसके बाद हाई कोर्ट जाएंगे, उसके बाद सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएंगे, कहां जाएंगे. You have not even able to get them convicted. I have an RTI in front of me which I had filed with Air Force. Air Force said we have no clue of what is the status of the cases. Then I filed an RTI with CBI. CBI said sorry, under section some and so of this, you are now, we cannot share the details of this.
Yes.
So after 32 years, the country has no clue what has happened to the killers of the 4 Air Force officials. Forget about the common man.
Okay. Sanam Shah is also with us from the Congress party. Mr. Shah, has the Congress completely lost any sense of morality when it comes and puts out tweets like this, which then they, after outrage, are forced to delete? The Congress leadership tries to, and at least the Congress tweet which went out from the Kerala Congress handle, tries to blame everybody else but various government as far as the Congress party are concerned. First, the government at the center in Congress completely turned a blind eye to what was happening in Kashmir, ignored warnings, and then after 32 years, you still have the gall to in fact point fingers at everybody else but yourself? Mr. Shah, can you? All right, Sanam Shah, in fact, I think we've lost that connection with Sanam Shah. Sarfaraz Wani, you are trying to equate. You are saying that, the pain of the people cannot be equated. The fact is, and I'll ask this question to you as well, then why is it that people like Yassin Malik, when you say that all Kashmiris are not terrorists, all Muslims are not like that, then why is Mr. Yassin Malik or Bitta Karate, why do they enjoy the kind of support that they get within the society? Shouldn't these people be isolated completely?
See, there is a rule of criminal jurisprudence. Being a lawyer, I will tell you, there is a law, there is a rule basically that everybody is presumed to be innocent until and unless his guilt is proved by the court of law. So if the court of law has tried the case, I think that they are on bail in these cases. There are many cases against them and they are on bail. And bail in these cases can only
Sir,
be
these are the people, those who have gone on record to confess that they have done this. Is there any sense of what you call Kashmiriyat, or is it all, when you want to talk about court of law and everything that comes in only when these people, in question of Rasin Malik and Bitta Karate?
Attacks happened, Ajmal Kasab confessed, right? But we had to have a trial. There was a proper trial which took 2 years. He was given a right to defend himself. And
He was given a right to defend himself, but successive government, including the people that you have voted so far, have refused to walk the talk when it comes to, in fact, walking the judicial line as far as these people are concerned. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me at this moment. If there has to be some healing, some closure, it has to first begin by accepting that this genocide, this dark chapter in the history of this country did take place, and make sure the perpetrators are in fact brought to justice. With that, we are slipping into a very short break. News and updates continue on the other side.